we are going to go over, I check my hair, we are going to go over the steps to solving two-step inequalities. So there's a lot, so I'm going to get started. When you're solving two-step inequalities, you're really combining two things. You're combining your two-step equation solving skills with your graphing of inequalities, and you're kind of putting them together, making them all one. So here's our steps. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to solve here's a two-step inequality. It's called two-step because we're multiplying x by a number and then we're subtracting something from it. So there's two things that are being done. So to solve it, we need two steps to solve it. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve it just like an equation. So we're just going to solve like an equation, and we're going to use our same equation solving strategies to do that. I'm just going to draw the line down and pretend like it's an equal sign. I'm going to pause the video and solve it. You can solve it on your paper. Okay, so I use the opposite operations to solve. So first I added or subtracted the constant, and then I divide by the coefficient. Now my solution is 1.5. So the solution I have here is 1.5, but I don't know yet whether it's greater than 1.5 or less than 1.5, because sometimes I know my symbol flips. So anyway, you can see that. But I just want to make sure, like, that's what I think the solution is, but I want to make sure I solved it correctly. So I'm going to make sure to use RSS. The only trick about RSS is as I use it, and I'm sorry I took up too much space here, but I'm going to rewrite my inequality. And the thing is, it's not really an equation, it's an inequality. So 10 times 1.5 minus 19, well, that's going to equal -4, but in my inequality, it's supposed to be greater than -4. So I might think to myself, uh-oh, I didn't get a true statement. Right, you didn't, but that's not what you were looking for in this step. In this step, you just want to make sure that you solved correctly. Now, someone's not listening to me, and so they don't know what letters these are, but this is RSS. I did say it. Anyway, so the value of both sides of the inequality should be equal at this part, even though this says greater than. All that tells me is that I have an open circle at 1.5. So 1.5 does satisfy that expression, and I get to -4. It's just not supposed to equal -4, so that's why there's an open circle. So now that I did that, the next thing I need to do is check to see which side I'm going to be graphing. So I'm going to check a value on the number line that makes the inequality true. The inequality true. So I'm looking at this, and I think that this is probably just going to be greater than, because that's what it said before, and I don't think it's going to flip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check a value that is greater than 1.5. I'm going to check 3. I could check any number to the right or the left, but I'm going to check the one to the right. So I'm going to check 3. So 10 times 3 minus 19, is that really greater than -4? Well, that's 30 minus 19 is 11, which is greater than -4. So yes, this is the correct way to graph it. It is to the right. If I would have checked a number on the left, like let's say I would have checked 0, then I would have done 10 times 0 minus 19, but that's not greater than -4. So those solutions wouldn't have worked. So I wouldn't graph that side. So it is to the right. So the last thing I need to do is write my solution. So write the solution, and you're going to write the inequality. So the solution matches your graph. So x is greater than 1.5. And I'm going to put a box around it. So there, I've solved it. I checked to make sure I solved correctly. I graphed it. I checked to make sure I graphed correctly. And then I finally write my solution. I put a box around it. So that's the multi-step